Today I will record in English, even if I'm not completely bilingual. I want to start the recording of this wonderful book, Master Keys to Personal Christhood by Kim Michaels. But Kim wrote this book. It's the Ascended Master Jesus, or Yeshua, as I call him in my soul. So the Ascended Master Jesus gave dictations to Kim many days, many weeks, and all that created a book of 48 pages, and you can have it on the bookstore of Kim on his website for around $20 in ebook, and a little bit more if you want it on paper. You have the one website of Kim. He has many websites, but one is askrealjesus.com. And my website, I teach in French normally, but because this book is not translated, I will share it in English. My website is The Divine Sky, or Le Ciel Divin in French. So the address is Le Ciel Divin, Le Ciel Divin .wix.com/The Divine Sky. It will be written in the text below the video. Okay, and you have a section about this book and some parts of the book that I have put on my website, Heaven on Earth. This website is heavenonearthyes.wix.com/Le Paradis sur Terre. I will write it in the text below the video. Okay, this is from what I know actually the last course that the Ascended Master Jesus gave, and it's in a big book like this. He transmits information to many people in humanity. But this is a special course, spiritual course, to transform ourselves, and it's the year, it's 2008, so almost 10 years. Okay, so I begin. Master Keys to Personal Christhood. Whatever you think about him, Jesus is more. Are you open to a new view of Jesus, a view that goes far beyond what most people were taught? If so, this book presents Jesus as an immortal spiritual being who is still working with humankind today. Jesus' goal is the same today as it was 2,000 years ago, namely to raise those who are willing to the level of consciousness that he demonstrated. That is why he said that those who believe on him shall do the works that he did. Jesus came to inaugurate a new spiritual cycle in the life of this planet. It is now the end of that cycle, and Jesus wants his fair harvest. Thus, as an ascended being, Jesus has brought forth this book through direct revelation. It contains 17 lessons, each with a practical exercise designed to empower you to systematically transcend the limitations of what most people see as a normal state of consciousness, but which Jesus sees as spiritual death. This is Jesus' workbook on attaining personal Christhood. Just before the table of contents. Who are you and why are you here? You are here because you know you want more. You do not want more of what the material world has to offer. You want more than what the material world has to offer. Thus, you are looking for a teacher who can show you how to find the more you are seeking. And that is why I have come to offer my services. For did I not say, I am come, that all might have life, and that they might have it more abundantly? Thus, let me show you the way to the life that is more. Jesus. Table of Contents. Introduction, the Sword of Christ. Part 1, Chapter 1, Exposing the Graven Images of Christ. Chapter 2, The First Challenge of Christ. Chapter 3, The Second Challenge of Christ. Chapter 4, The Beam in Your Own Eye. Part 2, Key 1, Decide to be teachable. Key 2, Confront your fears. Key 3, Loving yourself free from conditions. Key 4, Seeking first the kingdom of God. Key 5, Freedom from cravings. Key 6, Raising anger above fear. Key 7, Get off the treadmill of competition. Key 8, Escaping the subtle trap of pride. Key 9, Black and white ignorance. Key 10, Gray ignorance. Key 11, Truly sophisticated ignorance. Key 12, rediscovering your will to be. Key 13, The non-violence of the living Christ. Key 14, Find yourself by losing yourself. The first self with a capital S and the next one with a small s. Find yourself by losing yourself. Key 15, Understanding who Christ really is. Key 15, Key 16, The Alpha and the Omega of Christhood. Key 17, Transcending the Path to Christhood. Appendix, 4 parts. I give you the tools to overcome a spiritual crisis. Archangel Michael's Rosary for overcoming a spiritual crisis. Taking command over your state of mind. Mother Mary's Self-Esteem Rosary. Ok, I start. Je commence la lecture en anglais. Je suis plus à l'aise en français, mais le livre est en anglais. I start in English, even if it's really more easier for me in French. Okay, Introduction, the Sword of Christ. I am the living Christ. My main purpose for releasing this course in Christhood is to help the most spiritually aware people understand and master the timeless challenges of Christ. When I walked the earth 2,000 years ago as the historical person most people know as Jesus, I made this statement: Whosoever therefore shall confess me before men, him will I confess also before my Father which is in heaven. But Whosoever shall deny me before men, him will I also deny before my Father, which is in heaven. Think not that I am come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword. A sword? Sword. I think we don't pronounce the W. Matthew chapter 10. The role of the living Christ is to be the open door for the living word that divides people into two categories. There are those who are willing to let the word awaken them unto life, meaning spiritual life, eternal life, life beyond time and space. There are those who are not willing to be awakened and who are therefore judged for their unwillingness to rise above, to leave behind the state of spiritual death. The sword of Christ, the sacred word of Christ, divides people into those who confess Christ and those who deny Christ. The mere existence of discourse presents people with the first challenge of Christ, the challenge to confess or deny Christ. There are many who have been brought up, programmed to reject the living Christ, and consequently they are predisposed to reject this course. Some will be programmed to reject the course based on the title alone. They have come to accept a graven image of Christ, according to which I, Jesus, was the only person who could possibly attain personal Christhood. Thus, they consider it blasphemous to claim that everyone has the potential to become the living Christ. Yet, in so doing, these people must deny Christ before men, for they must deny one of my pivotal statements. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me, the works that I do shall he do also, and greater works than these shall he do, because I go unto my Father. John 14:12. I don't know if it's a good idea to make some comments on the text or if it's preferable just to read. Okay, just a little comment, I will see. When it was written that just the title, some people can reject it, yes, because the word Christhood, master keys to personal Christhood, or when you see the word Christ in the table of content, many people have a bad idea, a false idea about what is really the Christ, and with that they reject a lot of things. It's like the word God. Many people don't want to listen things or to read things about God because they have false ideas about God. Same thing with love. A child who had father who said to him, I will beat you because you did this or that, and because I love you. This child will refuse to listen the word I love you, because love is linked with violence from his father, for example. So when human beings don't understand really what some words, some concepts, some experiences mean, they record false things inside of them, and after it's difficult to talk with them about these subjects. So stay open with this lecture, because you will understand many new things, and with that you will change your mind and you will be able to listen or to read some words, spiritual words, and you will understand these words very differently. And in this book, the Ascended Master Jesus tried to make many corrections about false interpretations of what he did, what he said, and he made many distinctions with the churches who explain some things with errors, and they don't know that. So this book will challenge your ideas about many things. Okay, I continue. Page 10. How can one claim to be a follower of Christ while ignoring this statement or refusing to seek for a deeper understanding of it? When you seek for such an understanding, you realize that no one can do the same works that I did without attaining the state of consciousness that I demonstrated, namely the Christ consciousness. Thus, those who think the living Christ can be confined to one historical person or to a mental image of that person created by a self-serving institution do not know Christ and have not confessed Christ before man. There are those who have been programmed to reject this course based on the statement that the course is given directly by me, the Ascended Jesus Christ. Namely, that I stopped speaking to humankind after I had released the official Christian scriptures. It is as if they think I can no longer bring forth spiritual revelations, or that I have nothing to say to today's people. These people also deny Christ before men, for they deny the following statements. All power is given unto me in heaven and in earth. Matthew 28:18. I have yet many things to say unto you, but you cannot bear them now. John 16:12. Jesus, 2,000 years ago, wanted to explain many more things, but it was impossible because the consciousness of people was not ready for that. Now, many souls, many people, men and women, have more maturity and can understand many more new things. So the information, the revelation, the explanation of spiritual things can be in our world today, or in some books, in this book. Those who ignore these statements are in reality saying that they do not want me to speak to humankind today. They do not want me to disturb them in their self-created comfortability in which they claim to be my followers, yet have shut me out of their hearts and their churches. I do indeed have the ability and the will to bring forth new teachings in the modern world. For did I not say that I am with you always? Matthew 28:20. It should now be clear for those who have eyes to see that having a graven image of Christ will indeed cause people to deny Christ, while actually believing they are true followers of Christ. It is a fact that many people call themselves Christians, but they have adopted the very same mindset that I challenged many times. Judge not that you be not judged, for with what judgment you judge, you shall be judged, and with what measure you meet, it shall be measured to you again. And why beholdest to the mote that is in the brother's eye, but considerest not the beam that is in thine own eye? Or how wilt thou say to thy brother, let me pull out the mote out of thine eye, and behold, a beam is in thine own eye? Thou hypocrite, first cast out the beam out of thine own eye, and then shalt thou see clearly to cast out the mote out of thy brother's eye. Matthew chapter 7. I'm not sure of the pronunciation of Thai. It's not used currently in our vocabulary today. Excuse me for the pronunciation when it's not a good English. Like I said, sometimes it's better to have something that you can have free with some errors of pronunciation than not having it, because I'm not completely bilingual and not having it if nobody gives you the gift that I give you with this video or this series of videos. Many people will judge discourse based on a graven image, and in so doing they will bring about their own judgment. For you will be judged according to the words that you allow to fill your heart and mind. And if any man hear my words and believe not, I judge him not, for I came not to judge the world, but to save the world. He that reject me and receive not my words hath one that judged him. The word that I have spoken, the same shall judge him in the last day. John chapter 12. Yet many people judge because they simply do not know better, because they have been brought up to believe a false word about me. Thus I offer this course in order to give people the opportunity to understand the true teachings of Christ. When you, with all you're getting, get understanding, you have a free choice to reject the dead doctrines, the graven images, and accept the living Christ. So, the real question is not whether you know better right now, but whether you are willing to get to know better. Are you willing to let the living Christ take you beyond your current knowledge, beliefs, and understanding, your current mental box? As will become clear in this course, I do indeed have many more things to say to humankind, and in this modern age, many people can bear the full explanation of my true teachings. Thus, one of the main purposes of this course is to offer modern spiritual people a full understanding of the real mission of Christ. The mission that most people have never heard about because it has been obscured behind a multitude of graven images. Let it be made clear that this course is indeed a gift directly from the heart of the ascended Jesus Christ. I have all power in heaven and on earth, yet I have chosen to bring forth this course the same way I brought forth the 4 Gospels that most Christians recognize as being the result of divine inspiration or revelation. Over the past 2,000 years, I have inspired a number of people to bring forth genuine spiritual teachings, yet in this course I will, for the first time, give the full and unmasked truth about the mission of the living Christ on earth. Those who are willing to look beyond all graven images will then be able to make a free choice as to whether they will confess or deny Christ before men. For let it be made clear that there is hardly anyone on earth who has not come to accept one or more graven images of Christ, and such images make it impossible for them to choose freely whether to confess or deny Christ. Many do indeed think they confess Christ, but in reality they are confessing a graven image of Christ, while denying the living reality of Christ. Take note of what I said to my disciples. He that receiveth you receiveth me, and he that receiveth me receiveth him that sent me. Matthew 10:40. The same holds true for discourse. Discourse is my wake-up call sent to people in the modern age. Be careful that you do not allow a graven image of me or of the message I sent humankind almost 20 centuries ago to cause you to reject the message I send today. For those who reject discourse do indeed deny Christ before man, and then the law requires that I confirm their own choice before the Father. For the Father judged no man, but had committed all judgment unto the Son, that all men should honor the Son, even as they honor the Father. He that honored not the Son honored not the Father which had sent him. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that heareth my word, and believeth on him that sent me, had everlasting life, and shall not come into condemnation, but is passed from death unto life. John chapter 5. You cannot enter the Father's kingdom without going through the Son, the Christ consciousness, and this is precisely why it is such a travesty that I have been elevated to an exception rather than an example for all to follow. For people cannot enter the kingdom by following an external Christ. They can enter the kingdom only by becoming one with the internal Christ, by becoming the living Christ. Thus, in this course, I shall explain clearly how to truly honor the Son by letting this mind be in you, which was and is also in Christ Jesus. Galatians 2:5. And I shall offer you a systematic path to personal Christhood. Let it be made clear that this course is not meant to make people comfortable, but to bring them to face the choice to either accept Christ or deny Christ. Yet I am not insensitive to the fact that so many people will find it difficult to accept this course because they have been brought up to accept a graven image of Christ. Therefore, I shall give the first chapter as a bridge, whereby people can cross the chasm between the graven images of Christ and the living reality of Christ. As I said many times 2,000 years ago, I now say again, who hath ears to hear, let them hear. Okay, and in the next video, I will read part 1, chapter 1, exposing the graven images of Christ. So it was the introduction. I just want to say also that for me, it's really possible that the Ascended Master is in some celestial spheres, but also a part of his consciousness can be an incarnation, because we have many parts in our multidimensional being. We have our human soul, sometimes in incarnation, our divine soul in a higher plane, and our divine spirit. And for me, it's the same thing for everybody, and for the Ascended Masters, and for Jesus and other Masters, men, women. Some parts of their consciousness can be in higher spheres, and a lower part of them can be in incarnation. So I think that one day we will see in the physical plane the incarnation of Yeshua, of Jesus, in his modern life, and he will be in his way of fusion, union with his divine spirit. And sometimes the human soul doesn't have all the memory of the spirit part, and with all the spiritual way, the loving way, the union of the divine part and the human part can bring more and more information, more memories, and one day it's when we say me and the Father we are one, or me and the Mother we are one. It's a way to say that the human part is in union with the divine part. Each time that a being or a master or anybody in the universe accept that his human part will go in a new incarnation, some memories are lost for many years, some decades, and if this person lives spiritual path intensely, this union can happen. It's my perception, it's my opinion, maybe I'm wrong, you can have your own idea with that. Okay, I leave you with this to meditate if you want. I think that I have not mentioned the date at the beginning of the video. Today we are Tuesday, the 11th day of April 2017. I'm in my new place, in French, Mon Havre de Paix, a place of peace for my consultations in private. It's my room for massage with accessories, for tantric worship, spiritual worship, and the other side you have the another room to discuss if we are two or if we are a little group. We can eat veggie meals also. I have a balcony, I'm not sure it's the good word. It will be very interesting to be there when it will be cool, sunny outside. So I invite you, if you live near Montreal, I can have a room sometime also for people who want to sleep, like in bed and breakfast, for example, if you come from another city or another country. And yeah, I wish to meet many people here, and sometimes just by phone or on phone, if it's impossible to discuss in person. I wish you a very, very good day with new discoveries in your spiritual path, and I hope that you will buy this book in ebook or on paper, because it can change completely your view on life and on yourself. Have a nice end of the day. Bye bye.